You already know, man. It's the boy Beezy, man. You know what I'm saying? Here for the first episode of Beezy Off Script, man. For surely got my trusted and true co-host in the building, my big bro BJR on the other side, from the other coast. We might name this Airbnb. You know, we got the West Coast and the East Coast lively represented right now. Tonight we getting into three topics we gonna hit off on you guys real quick. Instant Game 7 reaction to the new champions, Oklahoma City Thunder. We're gonna talk about Kevin Durant's new home, his new destination, getting down there to Houston with Ime Udoka and the guys. Maybe they're gonna be the next champion. Maybe they're the new favorite. And then we're gonna get into which sport is easier to bet on, football or basketball. As we close the chapter of the basketball season, we're on the dawns of the football season. We'll talk about which one of those sports is the easiest to make a little side money on.
How you feeling, man? Finals.
I'm glad it's over. I had a feeling. I told a couple of friends of mine that, the only way the NBA could really get the most out of these two small markets in a championship series is to make them play the full slate. So now you got them going all the way up into 72 hours into the NBA draft. So the NBA is definitely trying to stay on the forefront of our minds right now. They're going to probably drop another trade or two on us before Wednesday, because everything in these businesses is all about ratings. The actual game season is over now, but make no mistake, the NBA, the executives, stuff like that, they still want to be tactically relevant, in the tabloids and the headlines and stuff like that. So dragging this series out 7, I mean, could Oklahoma City have closed it in 6? They absolutely could have. Does it make more sense for them to do it at home?
That was the play.
Absolutely. I think that, even with the way that they lost Game 6, if they would have lost Game 6 in another close one, then I would have said, okay, Indiana, refused to go home, home at home. You feel me? I don't know, man.
My man Halliburton, man.
Tough.
That's the one I think I'm mad about.
Tough.
I don't think Shea wanted it like that. His game kind of felt a little like they excited. They definitely wanted to work hard to get the championship. But come on, man, that takes
for real
out of everything, bro. I feel like that was a big loss. And shout out my guy McConnell because he was still making it in the game.
Yeah, in the first half they was up at the half. Yeah. The worst part about it is that's next year too. So now when you got a Pacers team that took Oklahoma City to 7 games, win or lose, you expect if we come out healthy, we still can do this. We in this, make a couple moves, free agency, draft, and we can get right back in the punch. But then you lose a guy like Halliburton now that's probably going to be out the whole year. That just changes everything. Similar to Tatum in Boston and Dame in Milwaukee. Right after he goes down with his Achilles, now your best player is talking about whether or not he wants to be in the building anymore. So you see the impact of these Achilles injuries when they happen late in the season. It affects both years. It affects this year, and because it's a 12-month recovery, it affects next season too.
How you feel about the Achilles? I think they got it. I've seen like rappers like Cam, and then we're talking about like the shoes. I think it's the shoes, but I think it's something else. What you think?
I could go a lot deeper, B. I don't know how much time we got, but the league's got to. They're milking these FanDuels and DraftKings deals with these long, just diluted ass schedules. I don't think the league needs to have 82 games. I didn't think that baseball needed all that they had. They ended up dropping some of their games. It would not anger me if the NBA said, you know what, maybe 82 is a bit much. Maybe let's cut it down to 70. And we can space the games out more. So we're not putting as much wear and tear on the players. So then we get less call outs. Now people ain't resting, and paying fans can see their favorite stars now because they're not taking nights off because they're not playing, you lighten the load. Like, I think that's something that they should look at for sure. When you talk about, like I said, this injury this late in the season, which an Achilles tear is a wear and tear injury. Most people aren't going to tear their Achilles week 1 of the season. They're not going to tear their Achilles in October. It's late in the season. Mileage been on the body. We in Game 7, 3 series in a row. Now I'm tearing Achilles. So I think the league should try to shorten the season, lighten the load, space the games out. We get it. But it's going to make the league more competitive because you're not going to have LeBron, Greek, KD, all your stars taking nights off. You're not going to have them, DNP because they don't want to do a back-to-back or whatever the case may be. If you can space the games out by shortening the season, and it's very easy to do it. I actually had a formula that I had wrote down when I was in the Navy. Like I kind of like did the schedules and like how to get rid of these games to make it still like it's a competitive season. And it's not hard at all, and you'd be able to space the games out. Like instead of playing like, you play like 2 games a week. Like you play Monday and then Thursday, so you're not resting. You take Monday a game, then you get Tuesday and Wednesday off, then you play Thursday. Then you might not play again until Tuesday.
Division teams at least 4 times, right?
I would shorten that.
That's like playing them 3 times in the division.
I would shorten that. That was one of the ones I said. I would shorten the division, the amount of times you play the division, because what happens if you make it to the playoffs, you're going to play them in the best of 7 anyway. So you're going to get those games back. It's just. I think ultimately it's just it's the business of it. More games is more money, but you see that more games, more money, more mileage, more wear and tear, more injuries, and more specifically later in the season, which, like I said, they affect 2 years. B. You lost Dame for the rest of this year and all of next year. Now Greek wants out. You lost Tatum for the rest of this series against the Knicks and all of next year. You might have to trade pieces. You just lost Halliburton in Game 7 of the Finals, and now you're gonna be without him next year. You might not even make. You might be a play-in team. You went from the finals to the play-in.
I could add something to that. I'll say the only thing I think about is they don't have training camp anymore. If you're going to do the 82 games, there has to be a training camp that allows those guys to really, bro, you know what it was, even when we was balling growing up. Like, we damn near worked twice as hard in the off season so that by the time you was playing.
So you're prepared. Yeah, you got to be prepared.
I really tell that they don't really put in real work until the season already started. And by you kind of doomed. I think that's a lot of these guys' injuries. That's been the case, but still, too, them sneakers, nigga, you need to play in some Barclays or something. Them joints is not.
Yeah. Everybody want to get cute with the shoes. Yeah, I'm not
casual sneaker look. Gil and the niggas wearing.
I'm not denying the fact that
he's on the court now. It's crazy, bro. For real, man. I'm a Rockets fan, bro. I ain't gonna cap it. Loaded. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about KD to the Rockets, man.
Well, I don't feel like our father. That's number one. He ain't washed. you and I both
you feel me? KD to the Rockets. I got that notification at like, what was it, about right after church? I was like I damn near was in church still. And as soon as I got that, bro, man, I got like 45 text messages with the eye emojis like yo. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you, man. I don't like this. I don't like the 5 the second rounders.
Well,
without that,
I didn't even see the package.
I'm cool with the package. So it's Dylan Brooks, it's Jalen Green, which I love because I was cool on Jalen Green, and it's a 10th round. It's the 10th overall this coming season.
Sure.
And then it's 5 additional second round picks in the future.
Oh, that ain't shit for Kevin.
And I'm all right, bro.
You're giving up second round picks for Kevin Durant? And you worried about that?
I mean, I'm just saying.
I wish Rob Pelinka would have been able to pull that one off. I would have sent them Austin Reed. Listen, from that package, what you just said, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green in 5 seconds. I would have sent them Rui. I would have sent them Rui, Reeves, and 7 seconds for Kevin Durant.
The Lakers not trying to do what the Rockets is doing, so that's probably making sense. We already got a young core.
Don't worry about what the Lakers about to do, bro. Just trust me when I tell you. Bombshell en route. What the Lakers is going to do. You understand what I'm telling you right now? Did you see who just bought that team? And do you see what he's doing with my Dodgers up in L.A.? Don't you worry about what the Lakers finna do.
Giannis. So who going? Giannis?
Listen.
Somebody.
Lakers got a thing for stealing a big out of Milwaukee. Pause. Hey, we got a thing for that. We like to call him captain when he show up too.
That's what you hear me? Man, bro, I'm cool. If I'm Kevin Durant, I damn near don't want to go to the Rockets because he's still in the Western Conference, man. It's not coming.
And I got another hot take.
It ain't gonna be sweet in the West, bro. He could have went to Miami and, in my opinion, had a much better outing. Because if
with who?
Eastern, Kevin Durant.
With who?
Whatever they was going to do to bring him over there, man. If they had a better situation for him, for KD could still be the guy. I feel like when in Houston, as a Rockets fan, bro, the only way I want to see it work is this is going to sound crazy, but I want Kevin Durant to turn into like Jalen Green. Draymond Green. Like I want him.
That's not happening. That ain't happening.
I know it's not going to happen, but that's
not happening.
We want. It's going to still be 26 a game, 27 a game. KD taking those shots, and I fuck with KD. KD's one of my favorite players of all time. But I'm
gonna tell you right now what the trade seemed like it did to me. The Dylan Brooks, you're gonna want to replace that. Maybe a Marcus Smart. If you can patch that in with a Marcus Smart on headed out of Memphis, then I'm not worried about that Dylan Brooks if I'm bringing back KD and Marcus Smart.
I'm looking for,
because the only thing about the Brooks is you're gonna need that veteran, kind of like Lou Dort just now and Caruso just now with OKC, that veteran toughness, whether it's in the starting lineup or off the bench, that don't let the younger guys get bullied, you know what I'm saying, or overwhelmed, and kind of keeps them toned down. For all the bad things you want to say about Dylan Brooks, yeah, but KD's more so your quiet killer. That's what he's coming to Houston to be. He's coming to be the nigga that when y'all need a bucket, there's no better bucket in the league right now. I don't care what Dad said. I don't care what nobody else said than the 7-foot killer, Kevin Durant. If that man is healthy, I don't care. I don't care because there's nothing you can do with his game, B. So if he gets to his...
Right, you said KD, anybody with the bucket. So what if we had done that trade and got... this is hypothetical, but you mean to tell me I don't want Karl Anthony Towns over him right now, today?
No, not today, tomorrow, or next week. Or next year. I don't want Karl Anthony Towns. First of all, you're talking to the wrong person. I don't like Karl Anthony Towns.
Play in Houston. What position is he about to play? The 3?
Probably. If you just got rid of Jalen Green, then I would assume.
JG was our 2 guard. Amon played the 3. He damn near played the point forward, but then we had Van Fleet in there. Van
Fleet. You're not getting rid of Van Fleet.
We're a real guard.
Not getting rid of Van Fleet.
I need Kevin Durant on that glass, man. I need Kevin Durant to really not be Draymond Green, bro, because that's crazy saying both their names together like that. But I just mean bro, we know you can get a bucket, but if you average 16 points, I ain't mad at that because that means that
not happening, B.
Third option.
It's not happening.
That's the Thunder.
Not happening. I don't think he's coming there to be a third option.
It's the same way that Chet makes that impact on Oklahoma City. The same shots that Chet gets up, that's gonna end up being a vibe with Amon being.
You talking about 2 totally different players, B.
Reed Shepard starts getting some touches. I don't know if it'll be this.
You talking about 2 totally different players, man. Chet Holmgren. The only thing Chet Holmgren and Kevin Durant have in common is they are both in the National Basketball Association. BJ,
bro, I'm not
that's it. I'm talking about that's it. They don't have nothing else to go.
On the
floor. That's what I'm saying. On the floor.
Chet not walking the ball up.
No, never. And Kevin can and will.
He's gonna be walking the ball up.
Especially late in the game, clutch time moments. You know, that's what you got Kevin Durant for down there, bro. You watch the series, man. Against the goddamn Steph and them boys, bro, you didn't have enough because you didn't have that silent killer. Okay, Jalen Green shrunk. He shrunk. Thompson's not offensively skilled enough yet. He was there to be a defensive guy. Van Fleet can't carry a team by himself. He's a complimentary piece. He's a very good point guard. Don't get me twisted, but he's not about to win a series. So you needed a Kevin Durant.
Where does KD put the Rockets right now? Give me.
If no other moves were made at all, and that we both know that that's not going to happen, but let's just pretend every team rolled it back with exactly as they stand right now, and you give Houston, KD, how their trade just went through. I mean, what they finish in the East or the West this year? Number 2?
Yeah, but all for nothing. We lost.
They're not falling much from there. They'll be number 2, number 3 in the West. Yeah, 1, 2, or 3 in the West. Because what you got to understand is, OKC, I mean, yeah, we would assume that they're going to run it back, or you at least have got to give them that respect about stars. So you got OKC up there, but then after that, who?
Houston got the OKC last year because we weren't expected to do good. This year we're expected to do good.
Oh no, I think it's because you have a championship level coach. You have a good team. You have good pieces on that team. You got
bro. I'm cool on KD rolling ankles and all that shit, man. I'm just saying, that's a lot. The 5 second rounds, I don't like that. I love KD.
If they would have been 5 first, I could see your complaint. But 5 second round picks for Kevin Durant, I don't really see that as an issue. B.
I don't want 5 niggas, let alone 5. Yeah, any.
Because what you got to understand too is the shelf life for players.
It's a lot of talent in the mid markets, man.
the shelf life for players in the NBA is so, on their teams is so short nowadays. The 5 players that you just traded to Phoenix, those 5 draft picks, maybe one of them gets another contract on Phoenix. Maybe one.
You think Bradley staying? He gone.
Bradley who?
Phil.
He don't want to leave. He got a no trade clause. He holding them niggas hostage.
They bought the Marbury, your boy.
Now, what I tell you might happen, and I was talking to my boy about it earlier, is you're not that much more of a competitive team getting rid of Kevin Durant and getting Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks back in return. So maybe you're mortgaging your future. And if you're doing that, you're going to get more for Devin Booker than you are Bradley Beal. You'll get more for Devin Booker than you did Kevin Durant.
Jalen out of there. I feel like the move was to try to get the.
Yeah, they said that something about like a get him to another team, but it's like that requires another team to want him. People say that. They've been trying to get rid of Beal. Both trade deadlines, the last 2 trade deadlines, they have made it very known. We don't want this nigga. But he don't want to accept the trade.
JG can't sit down like that.
He don't want to accept the trade unless it's to a team he wants to go to, which I believe the only 2 teams that he wants to go to is the Lakers, because he want to be in LA, Cali shit, and probably Florida or some dumb. He probably got a wild ass dream sheet of teams that he'll lift his claws for. None of those teams want him, so they can't trade him. They've been trying to trade this nigga for 36 months, bro. Well known.
Maybe they keep JG. They keep Jalen.
He's holding them hostage. I'm telling you, if I was them, I would keep Jalen Green. You're stuck with Bradley Beal, and I would trade Booker and get a haul. I would get a haul for Book, because you're gonna get a bigger package for him than you got for Kevin Durant, just because he's younger. I don't know how the deals look. He might, have a contract that has more years left on it, whatever the case may be. You're going to get more for Devin Booker than you did for Kevin. And if you were to tell me, if you're Phoenix and you walk out of the offseason saying, hey, we sold our best 2 players, but we got back a haul, and we're about to try to do what Oklahoma City just did. Then it's like, okay, you can sell your fans that in Phoenix, in Arizona. Arizona's people in Arizona are pretty chill. You can sell them like, hey, we're gonna suck for a little bit.
Like Luka, bro. They're
suck for a little bit. Nah, they're not that passionate. That Texas is too. Texas. Texas and they sports. They way more passionate. And again, the Luka came out of nowhere. If you traded Devin Booker right now, it wouldn't come out of nowhere because everybody would see it. Like, oh, they're trying to rebuild. They're selling. They got rid of Kevin Durant. You didn't get rid of Kevin Durant to get better. You know what I'm saying? You don't immediately. That's what I'm saying. You don't get rid of a top 5 player in the NBA to say, "Oh, we're going to be better next year." That's not the way it works. So,
some guys, when they say they want to move, man, you got to respect what KD has done. I don't know if, I know that Bradley Beal got the no trade.
Well, he said that. Kevin said that in February. What happened?
The deal had to make sense, but they got the deal. And I think Houston had to wait and see how they was feeling because we didn't know what we was doing until the season ended. We saw that we need a shot taker at the end of the game.
Okay.
So I love Kevin Durant in Houston, bro. I want to go on record as saying that I, DJR, the Rockets fan, from PG County, nigga, we love KD in Houston. But nigga, don't come out here rolling ankles and get off.
Yeah. I think Ime is a good coach for him right now, too. I think so, at least. I don't know these guys personally. I'll be the first one to say that. I just try to evaluate and assess, but I just feel like Kevin right now, having a coach like Ime, who's a no bullshit fucking, gonna have him have his team locked in, like he ain't none of that, I think that's good for him. I think that's gonna help him, and I think the last time he had a coach like that, he was winning championships.
Hey man, closing out, man. I found this question on Twitter. It was which is quote unquote easiest to bet on. It has all different types of sports. The 5 that they had though that people was talking about was the NBA, the NFL. You got MMA or we'll just say fighting,
prize fighting.
We had soccer, and then the final sport was hockey. B was not on the list because they assumed that was like super duper easy, but I don't know.
I would say Well, see, because to me it differs. Or there's. Let me just say that there's factors that will determine um, player props. Personally, I feel like football is easy. I don't say. See, I don't want to use that word. I don't want to use easy because I don't think it's easy to bet on any sport. I think you got to know what the fuck you're doing. I think that your success rate is probably better when you're doing a sport like football, NFL, when it comes to props, because generally speaking, football does the best at getting you to know their stars. So you go in more educated. Whereas all the other sports, there's so much musical chairs that you're doing. I wouldn't say guessing, but it's more, just straight up predicting in other sports. Whereas kind of with football, you kind of know, like you got the rivalry games, rival games ain't going to be as high scoring as, like it's kind of like a pattern with football versus NBA and baseball. At least those are the two that I'll speak on. The others specifically, a lot more sporadic, like a baseball no hitter. That shit comes out of nowhere, and they get like, there's no, you don't get a heads up for that. You know what I mean? A pitcher coming there on that smoke one night, and he just don't get hit. And alternatively, some of the best aces get smacked. They get a bad night, and everybody in the building, it's a home run derby. So. And then with NBA, we've seen it. Oklahoma City, who just won the championship tonight, 4 days ago, he lost by 40 in Indiana, or 30 points in Indiana. You know what I mean? So
I think money
that type of stuff happens less in football.
Yeah. I think money line, I would say NFL. Player props, I would say the NBA. But I just can't go away with like any type of prop, like one-on-one like matchup.
I would say that's probably the easiest money line.
The easiest, because that's just like flip a coin, damn near.
That's probably I would say for money line, probably it's the fightings and stuff like that would probably be the easier money lines. Because I mean, even you see it like most of the time when it's a fight, you remember the Floyd fights. Floyd will be a fucking, like you making no money on Floyd.
Trying to get that damn sports betting sponsor too. So whoever's out there, they end up catching the wave. Trust me, that will be.
Yeah, prize picks, I definitely can give you a more or less, especially with football on the way. Like I said, football is the one that I'm definitely more intimate with. My success rate, for sure, I have the stats to prove it. I track my bets. I am far better at football. So I even the last 2 years, I don't even mess with any sport but football. I just enjoy basketball and baseball and soccer now, like a fan. But when football comes around, I actually get busy. Yeah, I open the lab back up, so we can do the prize picks for sure. I'll tell you right now. Take the Ravens. More wins, because we might not lose. You hear me? I can tell you what. You can take us week 1, Buffalo Bill. We got something for that ass, nigga.
Oh yeah,
we owe you. But we're gonna wrap it up tonight, man. We gonna keep it brief. Like I said, it's the pilot episode. Sunday evening. Got the babies down and stuff like that. I'm gonna get back to the fam, man. But once again, it's your boy Beezy, man. Shout out to my big bro. Yet again, man, BJR in the building with me, man, coast to coast. He representing the East Coast right now. I'm tucked over here on the West Coast, making sure everything's still live, man. And, that's what we're going to try to do for y'all, man. We're going to try to, join the party, and we got our insight too, and stuff like that. And our little, I won't say expertise, but I don't know. I won't follow Beezy, man. I'll be right more than I'm wrong, y'all. So, but that's neither here nor there. We'll say that for another day, another bat channel. Until then, stay tuned for more, man. We definitely gonna get back out here, get others involved too. We got some guests that for y'all that can get involved, and we gonna turn this into a thing, yo. Like, ultimately, we all love sports and we all love communicating. So this is an opportunity for us to come together. You know what I mean? And so, it seems like small or whatever, but it goes a long way, because it keeps us out of the streets, out of trouble. And we get to socialize and kick back and joke, and we all, we all have an interest in the endeavor, right? Because everybody got a team they like, everybody got a player they like, everybody played a sport growing up, or maybe you raising kids, you might be coaching, you might be teaching the sports and stuff like that. So it's definitely one of those things that, as a former athlete myself, I've always honed in on the fact that sports really bring people together, man. So, being able to do this with my brother and bring this to y'all, you guys are now an extension of our family. So, salute y'all, man, and I appreciate each and everybody that's going to join us on this journey, man. Trust me when I tell you, we taking it to the top. So I don't do nothing to half-ass it. So we here.
That's a fact. That's